Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, they're going to be right up there. Yeah, just grab one of everything. I started interning, I started interning my freshman year of college, which is about 5 years ago. My sister, she's been here. How many? I feel like I have, yeah. Yeah, I think I met her. I'm really bad with matching names, but I feel like once I see her, I definitely. I see her twice a month. It's good. I'm glad our facility has been helping her. I know. That's great. Fantastic. We're glad you're here tonight too. What are you talking about? It's a little bit. How far is that from here? And you moved down here recently? No, it's our first time. You ready? Okay, we're going to get started, and thank you so much for everybody coming. I know a lot of you, some of you I don't, but I hope to get to know you, because I hope that when we're talking about this energy medicine and testing, that you'll want to come and get tested. But a lot of you I know, and thank you so much for coming. We're going to get started. I don't know how many of you know about energy testing, and when I say that, I don't mean like we have a lot of energy. It's like energy runs through all of our veins and our meridians, and it's like our body is made up of energy, electricity, and in Chinese medicine they call it qi. Energy is generated in internal organs and circuits through the body, forming paths near the surface of the skin called meridians. The basis of EDS, which is electrodermal screening, works by measuring electrical resistance and polarization at acupuncture points and meridians. Cells become polarized, which increase in resistance. And I'm just going through this a little bit so you understand what it is, and then I'm going to get into more detail about how I test and what it does. Chronic and acute inflammation. So you either have, like, as I'm testing you, what happens is some of you have had this test done. So there's 2 or 3 different tests that I do. 2 of them are kind of one test, so I say 2 or 3, and I'm going to get into more detail. But as I'm testing your meridians, it kind of activates your meridians, and they go through every tissue and organ, and I can find out where you're in and out of balance. So you're either going to be balanced, or you're going to have some chronic condition, or acute, which is more inflammation. Medicine testing is performed on any abnormal points that are not balanced. And what that means is after I'm testing you, if there are abnormalities, like some of you have gotten the cancer cascade, and some of you have just gotten a biomeridian. If there's abnormal points, then I can test medicine on those abnormal points to see what your body wants. For instance, let's say you have diabetes, and if I put insulin on there and it's abnormal, your pancreas, and if I put insulin on the plate, it will go to normal. But if I put sugar on the plate, it will go to abnormal. So that's the easiest explanation that I can think of. So if you put something healthy on the plate that your body wants, that brings it back into normal range, then that's what you need for your body. But we do it with medicine, like homeopathics, vitamins, glandular support, nutritious things, and we can even do it with food. There's 3 different scans that I told you that we do: the 3D body scan, the biomeridian, and EDS 2000. Now, if you look at your notebook, this notebook, I have more information. Like, this is for you to take home, and you all have a pen, and in the back there's a few pieces of paper that you can make notes. But the first part, the first like 4 or 5 pages, it talks about electrodermal screening. So it goes into a lot of detail about energy medicine. And we don't have time to talk about it all tonight, but this is very good reading for you, and then you'll understand how Dr. Voll, the one that invented this, came up with the technique to do it and to also test the medicine. And then the next page is a 3D body scan, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. So go like 5 pages over. This right here, 3D body scan. So you can kind of take a look and see everything that the 3D body scan tests for. But the way it's done is a lot of people are nervous to get it because they think 3D body scan that they're going to have to take their clothes off and get in a tube. And that's not how it works. All you do is take your shoes and socks off, and it's through electrical impedance, which measures the altered body composition that is a causal factor for most chronic diseases. So what I do is I will put your hands and your feet on metal plates, and I put electrodes on your forehead. And once I turn it on, it takes like 2.5 minutes. It does 50,000 calculations per second. And it goes through your whole body. So it's measuring the interstitial fluid of your cells as opposed to blood. Now, blood is different than the interstitial fluid of your cells because blood is not stagnant, and your cells, the fluid in your cells, are stagnant. So that's a pretty true picture of your health. And the 3D body scan, we can find things up to 3 years before it will show in the blood. And oftentimes when people have their blood work, they can show me their blood and it correlates with what I have found. But for instance, about 3 years ago, I tested a man, and the prostate thing kept coming up throughout the scan that he might have prostate cancer. And I'm not a doctor and I don't diagnose, but what I did is I sent him to a urologist, and all the tests came back negative, like no, but I was sure because this will detect things before it will go into blood. So they did some further tests, and sure enough, he had early stages of prostate cancer. But I found this over and over again with this 3D body scan. It's amazing. The Department of Defense uses it to diagnose PTSD in the military. It's pretty cool. My son, I just have to use him for an example. He went on a mission for our church, and I hope he's here tonight. He's the one that was playing the piano, and I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story. This is a little bit emotional for me because he, in his mission about 6 months in, something happened to him, and his brain just basically shut down. And nobody knew what happened to him, and he was there. I know that he had a hard time communicating, and all the interests he had no interest anymore. He had no drive. He was just like, there was something wrong with his brain. And he went to doctor after doctor. Nobody could figure out what it was. And so they ended up sending him home, and we sent him to so many doctors. And through this body scan, what we found out is he had a stroke. It was in his right frontal lobe, and we were able to find out. But we went through a year of like craziness, money, heartache, it was crazy trying to find out what was wrong with him and what had happened. And when we found out it was a stroke, it was through this 3D body scan. And so then he was able to get the proper care, and he's back to normal. You're normal. But it's just that those are two examples of many that I can tell you that I have found things with people that they have been to doctor after doctor and they don't know what's wrong. So, and it tells you all your deficiencies. It goes through all of your organs. It tells you if you're sensitive to gluten, to casein. It will tell you what vitamins you're deficient in. It specializes in pre-screening for any cardiovascular, diabetes issues. I have gotten a lot of people healthy through, give them a supplementation, because it will tell them you need vitamin D, you need vitamin C, you need enzymes, you need sulfur for oxygen. It measures the oxygen in your blood. It goes through so many things. So that's what it is basically a snapshot of your overall health, and it's very accurate. So the next test that I do is called the biomeridian. And the biomeridian, we use it for two different things. One is to do the cancer cascade, which I'm going to go over the cancer cascade. And the cancer cascade is to find where there are any overgrowth of uncontrolled abnormal cells in any organ or tissue. And that's how we can find if somebody has overgrowth of cells. And I don't diagnose cancer, and the device doesn't, but we can sure find out where there's an overgrowth of abnormal cells in what organ or tissue. So I'm going to go over that, and I'm going to show you how we do that. But the biomeridian, basically, and if you can go to that page, it can pick up allergies. It can pick up if you have parasites, if you have viruses, if you have food sensitivities, so many things that could be going on. Yesterday I did a scan on somebody, and I knew that he had been spraying his lawn with something, I can't remember what it's called, what is the poison? Roundup, that's in all of our food. Anyway, so it was like, and I said, okay, so you've been spraying your yard, and it's like your whole body is so toxic. And he goes, you're right, I was doing it all weekend. So it picks up everything. Like I find, parasites, viruses, heavy metals. It will pick up everything. And so it's a really good, if you haven't been feeling well, or you're just tired, or you need some type of glandular support, or you even need to know what supplements to take, this is a really great scan to get. Now, I just want to show you something. So let's go on to the Cancer Cascade. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Cancer Cascade and how we do it. I do this test to find out where you're in and out of balance because I need to get a baseline. I need to find out where you're normal and you're abnormal, if you have inflammation, if you have any chronic issues, or if you need to be balanced. And so what happens is then after that, and every time you come in, no matter how much you're imbalanced, before you leave, I will balance you totally. You'll be perfect. You're going to be perfect. All you have to do is get whatever homeopathic that balanced you, because what happens is the device has an antenna and a signal generator in it. So when I'm testing you, as long as you're holding the negative, which is the ground, and I introduce a positive, which is a small amount of current that's less electricity than your cells generate, so you don't feel a thing, but you're in this circuit, within a 3-foot circuit. So everything that I'm testing you, I can find out everything I want from your body. And the opposite is true. Like, let's go into the Cancer Cascade. So what happens is I put certain formulas on the plate, and I can find out from those formulas whether your body wants them or not. And if they do, I know it's indicative of an overgrowth of abnormal cells in that organ or tissue, whatever I'm testing you in. So this is how it works. I'm just going to kind of give you Cancer Cascade 101. So there's a theory that cancer is a 12-year disease. Tumor formation starts in year 8. Okay, so here's a 12-year disease. Tumor formation starts in year 8. So if tumor formation starts in year 8, do you think that one day you just wake up and you have a tumor? No. But that's where conventional medicine tests you and finds something. So from here to here, all of this area right here, it's like all of a sudden I have a tumor, like nothing led up to that. It's kind of like if somebody gets a hemoglobin A1C test and it's high, it's off the charts. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have diabetes, does it? No. What it means is there could be something going on, and let's reverse that as soon as possible, because if you don't, down the road, if you stay on that path, you could have diabetes. And it's the same thing. All of us are in and out of this all the time. Everything starts, all sickness, disease starts at an electrical, emotional, or energetic level. And that's the thing, we're going to get more into emotions in a little while. But what a lot of people don't realize is that they don't realize that sickness and disease starts something emotional. Something has happened emotionally, and I don't know how many of you guys realize that, but so many things happen emotionally that starts that cascade. And I'm telling you, so many people that I test and I do their emotions, they can tell me, I would say 90% of them, when we really start testing their emotions, can tell me, like, when they started, we can figure out how far along they are just through tests that Dr. Keneally's done, and they've sent for the RGCC and the Oncoblot and all these tests that they do here. They can tell what happened, what event happened that started that cascade. And so what happens is that information then goes to the meridians. Now, the meridians are the fastest transmission of information in our body. They've even done studies where they've injected radioactive isotopes into the meridian, and they've seen it. It travels the speed of light. It's so quick. And then they've taken the radioactive isotopes and injected them into veins. Now, veins, the information will go, but not as quick. Then they've injected the radioactive isotopes into non-veins, non-meridians, and nothing happens. So we know there's evidence that meridians are the fastest transmission of information. So after it goes to the meridians, then that information goes to the nervous system, and then it goes to the cells. The cellular level is where all conventional testing is done, like x-rays, biopsies, CAT scans. And because they can see something right here in this category, year 8, where you actually have a tumor, that means that they can see the tumor. So that's where a cancer diagnosis is made. But they're not, like, they're ignoring this whole thing, you know. So there's a lot of people that have a tumor and they get it removed, and it's like, okay, you're in remission, you're okay. But what they're not realizing is the tumor is the symptom of the disease. Something is still going on in here. And as long as you're in the Cancer Cascade, and if you don't reverse it, then more than likely you'll end up back here. And a lot of people keep, they'll get reoccurring tumors because they don't realize that they need to get out of this by, healthy lifestyle, taking the supplementation, eating organic food, exercising, getting the rest, and the emotional, fixing the emotional stuff. So if you don't fix all of this, then more likely you'll end up back here. So we're able, because it's the fastest transmission of information, it allows us to see changes in conductivity in your system. So we can see what goes on in the emotional level, the nervous system, and the cellular level. And because we can see all this, we can see everything that goes on here and here. So by our testing, the EDS 2000 and the biomeridian, we can see what goes in all of these places. So all of us have about 75 million cancer cells, give or take. If we're healthy or not, we all have at least 75 million cancer cells. If our immune system is strong, it keeps those cancer cells into check. But when things happen in our life, like emotional things, divorces, you know, things that happen in our life, pollution, stress, toxin, all of these things that happen in our life, and it suppresses our immune system, it gives the abnormal cells and the ability to overgrow and become uncontrolled. That's when we can enter into the cancer cascade. We're all in and out of it, like I said, all the time, but the longer that you stay in it, the more likely you are to develop a tumor and get cancer. So that's why it's really important to identify where you are, if you're even in early stages. And so all of our thing is about early detection and prevention. Because believe me, early detection and prevention is much easier than once you have cancer to try to reverse it. Much easier. So, so how it works is you hold the bar, the negative, I introduce a positive, and within that circuit I can get information from your body to find out where you're in and out of balance or where you have abnormal cells. And then what I do is test you on a formula that we have. They're called Naturas. They're from China. And this Bill Curry, I don't know if you guys have all heard the Cancer Cascade CD. We have one, and if you don't have it, you should get it before we leave. I'll get you all one. It's amazing. But Bill Curry was a 45-year bone cancer survivor, and he was a scientist and inventor, and he was like a brilliant man. He was in Germany and knew all about this machine, the biomeridian. And then he went to China and he lectured. He lectured all over the world, but he was lecturing in China about cancer and prevention and early detection. That's where he met Dr. Wong. Now, Dr. Wong comes from a line of 1,200 years of physicians. And so, you know, he has a lot of experience. So his family, his mother, all of them were healers. And people from all over China would go to them to get healed. But their family has 8 system-specific anti-carcinogenic formulas that are formulated especially for the digestive system, the respiratory system, like the urinary system, the ductless glands, blood, lymph, and nervous system. So there are 8 systems. So instead of there being hundreds of kind of cancers, it's like, is it in the respiratory system? Is it in the digestive system? Is it in the urinary, the mammary gland? You know, those kinds of systems. So that's how I test you. So, you know, we can kind of find out where on this line where you fall. You know, are you here? Are you here? Are you here? Are you just in the very beginning? So it's just really kind of good to know, like maybe once a year get this checked just to kind of find out where you are. And in the meantime, by doing this, we can see what's in your body, what toxins are causing these. And then we're going to go into, let's see, the emotions. So causes of imbalance in your body. It could be toxins, stress, infection, parasites, geopathic stress, pollutants, fungus, all these different things. Now, I know I've touched on emotions a little bit, but emotions have a big impact on your health. Huge. So anger, resentment, hateful feelings, jealousy, negative self-talk, that has a huge, huge impact on your health because it's all energy. And whatever you tell your body, that's what your body's going to be. It believes you. It believes everything you do. So if you're an angry person all the time, you know, it's interesting. When I've done the 3D body scan for so many years, and I'll just tell you how important it is to have positive, good feelings about people and yourself. I got to where a person could walk in and sit down, and I don't care if they weighed 150 pounds and they were as fit as can be, or they weighed 300 pounds. I could tell by their energy what kind of a scan they were going to have. It's like I did so many of them. I knew how healthy they were going to be. I knew if it was going to affect their heart, their kidney, because I know different emotions that affect different organs. And I got to where if somebody sat down in my chair before I even scanned them, I knew if they would have kidney issues, if they would have lung issues, if they'd have heart issues. I mean, it's unbelievable what emotions can do. And it's just, I don't know if I'd have believed it had I not tested hundreds and hundreds of people, and I see it. There's an example, I was in Hemet about 2 years ago, and I tested a whole family. And one of the women, she works out every day, she has a great lifestyle, I know she takes supplements, and she does yoga. But I'm telling you, when I tested her, she had so many issues. But the thing about her is she's not nice to people. She didn't want to be there. She was grouchy. I mean, it was just crazy. Her son-in-law came in, and okay, he's a little bit, he could lose a few pounds. He was probably 250 pounds. He was so laid back, so happy to be there, so helpful. And I'm telling you, his scan was almost perfect. Yes, he needs to change his lifestyle a little bit, but I'm just telling you, just the difference, and that's what I'm saying, is it's so important, your emotions, how you feel about yourself and how you feel about others. How jealousy, anger, resentment, it kills you. It's like poison. I don't know if you've ever heard the saying that having resentment or revenge is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I've always remembered that because it's so true. And the more I scan people, the more I believe it. So it's important to have a healthy attitude. So emotions affect your health. Your body works through chemistry and physics, or electricity. And we can call it qi because we're talking about Chinese medicine. When you have thoughts or emotions, negative or positive, your brain releases neurotransmitters that affect your feelings. Your feelings are actual chemicals in your body. Part of the health process is developing a healthy attitude. So practice the positive, let go of the negative. Emotions that affect your health. So let's talk about your immune system. Do you think that emotions affect your immune system? Big time. Now, in this booklet that you're going to take home with you, I have 2 articles. You don't need to read them now, but what they are is Boost Your Health with a Dose of Gratitude. And I've highlighted in kind of pink how it affects your health, your physical health. And then there's another one that says The 4 Amazing Health Benefits of Helping Others. Do you think helping others helps your health and your immune system? It does. If you kind of get out of your own head and your own needs and help others and think of others and love others and want to help others, then let me just tell you, your life is a lot better. So emotions that suppress your immune system are depression, stress, anger, anxiety, and I'm sure you could think of a lot. Emotions that support your immune system are love, compassion, gratitude, and all of the good emotions. And these are physical feelings that change the chemistry of your body. How do our emotions affect our health? The negative emotions will affect your cortisol, which suppresses the immune system, increases blood pressure, and puts stress on your heart and kidneys, and other things. That's just the beginning of a cascade of health things that happen when you have negative emotions. Your immune system is what protects you and keeps you healthy. Your immune system is your primary defense. The good feelings of gratitude, compassion, love, forgiveness, etc. counteract the negative emotions and make you a lot healthier. So studies prove that people that are forgiving, compassionate, grateful, and practice other positive emotions have a stronger immune system, are healthier, and less susceptible to disease. And that's a fact. So what I've done is what I'd like you to do is you all have a little card. Did you all get the little card? I would like you to please take a few minutes, and you can do one of 2 things. You can either write a little card to tell somebody how grateful you are for them, or write a list of things that you're grateful for. This practice will change your life if you do it every day. Every night before you go to bed or every morning, you write a list of the things that you're grateful for and things that have happened in your life that day, like somebody did something nice for you or said something nice or made you feel good, things that made you feel good during the day that someone else's act of kindness did for you, or maybe something that you did for somebody that made you feel good. And that's part of service. It's like when you do something for somebody, they've done studies where they've had people be operators and call these people that are, or have call-ins on people that, like these abused women or children or people that are suicidal. And the people that volunteer, they did studies that they got so much more benefit than the people that called them in, because they were helping somebody. They were getting out of themselves. They were getting healthier. They did their blood work. They checked their blood pressure. Everything changed. These people got healthier. I mean, you guys, it's so important to love others, be good to others, have a good attitude, like get out of yourself and just be happy. And the thing is your immune system will strengthen any sickness you have. All of these things that are happening, like they even have, like, even on the CD, I have to remember to give it to you guys, Mother Teresa, when she died, okay, so we all know Mother Teresa, and she was full of service. When she died, her body was riddled with tumors, like hundreds and hundreds of tumors. She was never sick because you know what? She had a purpose in her life. All she cared about was helping others. All she was about love and compassion. It's so important. It's so important. What I've done, you guys, is I made you, first of all, I hope that you're writing your cards. And I've made you all a little starter kit. It's a jar, and I have them over here. And it says, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. And that's so true. And so there's paper in here. So take this home, and just every night, take your paper and write all the wonderful things about your life. Our brains believe everything we tell them. If we tell ourselves that we're wonderful and we're great and we're happy and we love other people, guess what? That's what we'll start doing. We won't be resentful. We won't be, we won't carry on things that, have, like, I had a scan that I did once, and this lady, this has happened more than once. So this lady, her nervous system was off the chart, her heart was stiff, and I knew it was stress, and I just said to her, I said, I think that there's somebody that you need to forgive. Have you forgiven everybody in your life? Because I can tell different things that I look. And she goes, yeah, the only thing I can think of is like 20 years ago, I got divorced and I was really mad at my husband, but you know what? I'm not mad at him anymore. I forgave him for everything. And I said, so you're telling me that if he came in here right now that you would sincerely hug him and love him and wish that he'd be happy? And she goes, are you kidding? I wouldn't even touch him. And so that told me that, but that happens so often. People think, but what you have to think of is like, you have to think of people as angels. Like, every one of us have problems. Every one of us walk our own path. And you can't judge anybody. Like, don't judge people, because you have no idea where they came from. You have no idea the trials they've had. You have no idea what they're going through at home. I mean, there's things, the way that I grew up, like, I didn't want anybody to know. My house was never clean, that my mom was mean, so many crazy things, and I know we've all been dropped on our heads, but I'm just saying, I didn't want anybody to know anything about my life. I wanted everybody to think everything was perfect. So that's the persona that we all give off. You know what I mean? But it doesn't have to be that way. We can just be who we are, be natural, and not have to cover up, and just be happy, and be, give what we have to other people, because we all have unique gifts. All of us are unique. All of us have unique gifts, and all of us need to share that with others. So that's the end of my talk, and if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer it, but I don't want you to forget your CD, and all of you can go have a jar. I want you to really use it, if you would please. So does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, what about the testing? What happens if we want to get some of this testing?
Oh, the testing? We'll have Jolene. Oh, Jolene. Can we get a notebook and have them? Yeah, so we can cite.
I don't know how much it is.
Just tell us how much it is.
Oh, so the Cancer Cascade is $250. Okay. And the Biomeridian is $175, and the 3D body scan is $175.
3D is $175?
The 3D is $175. What?
How we're confirming the billing for insurance?
Oh, yeah, right now we're trying to, insurance might cover it, and so we're trying to kind of go through that. On the 3D body scan, we're kind of in the middle of trying to figure that out. So that would be great. So, oh, you know what, you guys, I just want to make sure that you got your card, and then if you filled this out, one other exercise you can do to take home. Okay, first of all, I just want to go back to this really quick. This is what happens to your body, your immune system, or like, and it says stress, but this means all negative emotions. All negative emotions cause all these things. And then when you get home, I just wanted to give you this. There's directions on the top, but this is pretty cool. This is, you just go home. This is like, this is called the wheel of life, circle of life. And what you want to be is on the outside as much as possible. And this is just for yourself, but be honest when you're answering the questions. But you just go through, and each one of these, this is like 0, this is 100. And what you want to do is put on that line from 1 to 10, let's say, where you are. For instance, this says health. Oh, maybe I want to be healthier, so maybe I'm at a 5. Or let's say finances. Let's say I'm really broke and I really need to make money. So I'll put that on I put that on a 1. Okay. So you just go around the whole thing, and then you like make a spoke of a wheel. You put your pencil and go like this, and you kind of see where you are and how far out you are. The goal is to be as far out here as possible, and you just work on that. because you're going to be surprised some of the things that you see and things about yourself that you didn't even think of, because life is all about balance, and it's really important to be balanced. Don't just be all about work or all about play. Life is all about balance.
And what do we do with the questionnaire?
It's just for yourself. It's just a little questionnaire, because since we talked about meridians and acupuncture points, those are acupuncture points, and so it's just for yourself to find out kind of which system, because a meridian, the pathway is a long pathway. It's not just, let's say I'm testing your large intestine, which is right here. If it's abnormal or if it's low, it doesn't mean necessarily that it's your large intestine. It could be anything in that meridian pathway. So those questions are for, like, do you feel stressed out? Do you feel hungry? Is your metabolism slow? So that's an organ point. So those are the kinds of things, just to understand which meridian and what's in that whole pathway. It's just a fun exercise since we were talking about meridians. Okay?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
It's just a hypothetical, but let's say someone, super positive person, very giving, donates their time, loves others, and super positive, but yet they're in an abusive relationship, and they get beat day after day after day, and they'll try to bounce back from it and be super positive. They get beat down again. How does someone like that?
Well, I'm not a psychiatrist, and I think we need Dr.
I'm just using
yeah,
that analogy.
but yeah. I think that it's
Metaphorically,
no, I think it's a hard I think that's a very hard situation. I would find support. I would find a support group and support, and find out who you could get to help, whoever that is, to get help to maybe rectify the situation or get out of the situation. I think that that's over my head of answering, but that's what I would do.
Yeah, I was more thinking it was just a hypothetical.
Right,
it's
right.
More metaphorically.
Right,
like
right.
Life issues.
Right,
Like,
right.
Knocking you over.
Well, I mean, I know life isn't easy. I mean, it's not, but I mean, I understand like what we can have control over, and I get what
But
you're saying.
I'm talking about the things you don't have control over.
Right. I don't know. I think that what we can control is we do the best we can at that, and the others try to work through it the best we can and get support. That's all I can say about that.
All the hospitals I've been in don't offer this. And if
No.
you can get early detection and prevention, why isn't it offered in the hospitals?
Just forget it. Don't even go there, because they're not interested.
No.
They make.
It's all about medicine. It's about medicine.
They're not into wellness.
They make more money overseas.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
I wish I would have brought more people. Do you give these periodically or something?
Yeah, every week there's a lecture every single week, and so one of the practitioners will give a lecture, and I think it's on the website, isn't it,
Next
Jolene?
week is Dr. Bita. She's going to be talking about how to strengthen your immune system and how to prevent cancer, and just that in general, so immune system and cancer. So
Is it going to be pretty much the same as what you're doing? Or?
I mean,
it's going to be a different topic.
yeah, it's a different topic, and everybody just does their own thing. I mean, and we just started this like about a month ago. What?
But isn't this going to be on the website?
Yes, this is going to be on the website.
It's on
So
the
peop-
Facebook. It's
But so
Facebook.
people
Oh.
that missed it can go and watch it, right?
Right, right.
Is that what you were asking?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. But we're going to keep doing them every week. So we kind of are just going to rotate through every practitioner, and everybody will have their turn, and then, do it again.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Could you review the pricing again?
Oh, I'm sorry.
$175 for the 3D body.
The 3D body scan, $175 for the biomeridian, and $250 for the cancer cascade. And the reason the cancer cascade is a little bit more is because it's the biomeridian plus additional testing. So it's like double the testing, and that's why it's a little bit more. What were you going to say?
Some people that have chronic pain, say they have spinal stenosis, chronic pain, back pain, or whatever, it leads to
Depression.
Depression. And
Uh-huh.
how do you break that cycle?
Well, I don't know the answer to that, but I can tell you that with the biomeridian, I do a lot of emotional testing, and I help them, a lot of people, get through that, and I know that they have a lot of resources here. And let's say it's you, and you come in and you have this and you're depressed, and I do this emotional testing, and we kind of find out, because a lot of stuff is, again, caused by emotions, and as soon as we start clearing that out, you would be surprised at how some people's pain goes away. But they have a lot of resources here that they could help you with that. And that's why, so when somebody comes to me and I test them for certain things that I can't handle after that, like I'll, give them, say, oh, these are the supplements you should take, or these are the, the glandulars, or the homeopathics, or the let's get these toxins out of your body. And then I do a lot of emotional testing. If we get to that point, then I'll say, okay, this is the doctor you need to see, or this is who you need to see. So this is pretty much a one-stop shop. Like, they have everything here. And so if there's something that, I just do the energy testing and the emotional testing, so I do all that. And if there's something that I find that I think that could be beneficial for you somewhere else, like just in our talk, because I really get to know people when I'm working with them, and they tell me things that they don't even tell the doctors, only because that one thing might not have come up, because I ask very specific questions. And then when we do the emotional testing, they'll usually, that will come up. I mean, I've done some emotional testings on some people in this room, and it, we were pretty right on. And then at that point, you can start talking about, well, what are my options of why this is that way, or I feel this way, what should I do? Whether it's emotional or pain or whatever the condition is. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Does this help get them off drugs too? A lot of people are on narcotics and stuff like that. And
boy, you guys are just asking me some really tough questions. Jeez. They have an addiction center here, so I know that, again, this is a one-stop shop. So if something like that happened, I would always refer you to the right person. And I don't pretend to know something I don't know. I just know what I know, and then I send you on to somebody that can do a better job at what you need.
So does it give you markers for chemical dependency?
It will, things will come up that I can, find out, yes, definitely. And then at that point, depending on what it is, at that point I would talk to the right practitioner or doctor and just, give them my findings. It's kind of like I'm a technician. Like if an x-ray technician looked at the x-ray, they wouldn't tell you, oh, this is what it says. They would give it to the doctor, and that's what I do. So I gather all the information, like I'm a technician, and then I give all that information to your doctor or your practitioner, and they're the ones that will tell you, where to go from there. But I know who to go to. That's the one thing I know. I know who to go to. Any more questions?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
You said that this involves emotional testing. How does this vary different to the EVOX?
I can't tell you that because I've never gotten the EVOX, which I'm sorry to say that, but I have never done the EVOX, but I know that's amazing, but I have never done it.
I just was wondering.
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. And you know what? I need to find that out because that's an important thing for me to know. But with this, it's the same thing in meridians, and I don't know how it tests for emotions. I mean, as far as it's pretty accurate. Like everyone that I've done. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Okay. Will you finish first?
Yes.
Okay. I came in late, so if you discuss this, I apologize.
Oh.
Are you familiar with New German medicine?
New German? No.
Medicine. Okay. Thank you.
No. Oh, yes.
So, would you do like all three tests? How would you know which tests to do, and how long do they take, or do you ever do all three?
Oh, well, the way I would do it, you would never do all three. What you would do is a lot of people get two tests, and it's the 3D body scan, which the test itself only takes 5 minutes. But I allot an hour with the person because there's a lot of information to review, and if they have a lot of questions. So they might be in there 30 minutes, they might be in there an hour. But the test itself, the 3D body scan, only takes 5 minutes because it does 50,000 calculations per second, and it just goes through everything very quickly. But there's a lot of information. So that's an hour, and then the biomeridian is only an hour. But if you add the cancer cascade onto it, it's at least another half hour or hour. So what some people do is get the 3D body scan and the cancer cascade, because within the cancer cascade, you're also getting the biomeridian, because that's the first part of the test. And then no matter what I find out in the biomeridian, what imbalances you have, and in the cancer cascade, I'll always go back and balance you out. So it's like you're getting two tests in one with that, and then you get the 3D body scan. And even though they're very different tests, the information always confirms each other. So a lot of people like both of them because it gives us different information, but yet it confirms information. It just gives it different kinds of information.
And that test, I don't know why I didn't write it down.
What?
How much is the cancer cascade?
$250.
$250, thanks.
Yes.
It's like I'm just full of questions.
Okay, what?
So is this a good thing where to start? Because I've heard about the cancer testing that you do here, like the oncoblock.
Right. That's
Like, like how do you, like I am a cancer survivor, and so
Oh,
I'm
okay.
wondering, well, what should I do? Should I just go get the Oncoblot, or should I just do these preliminary things? I mean, I'm 8 years from it.
Oh, right, right. What?
I think my story might help answer her question.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. to
Oh, no,
interrupt.
that's fine. That's fine. Share it.
Next February, I'd be 10 years cancer free, and I'd always be asking my oncologist, for screening tests and imaging and all of that, because they told me that if it ever comes back, it's going to metastasize with a vengeance, and that's always been in the back of my mind, and they kept declining me, and no, we're not going to do any diagnostic, but I know that it's because of the pressure that they're under from the insurance companies not to do it, blah blah blah. So I was kind of bitching about all of that to one of the doctors here, and she said, well, just so that you can have peace of mind, why don't you spend a couple $100 and we'll send away your blood to Greece, and we'll do that once a year, and then that way we'll figure out, we'll be able to detect when your cancer comes back early. Otherwise, if I waited for my local oncologist to detect it, I'll be stage 4. And because he basically told me, well, we'll do screenings when and if you have symptoms like pain in my bones or in my abdomen that won't go away. And I never expected it in a million years to come back positive, and it did. But we caught it super early, super early. And I feel like there's some angel watching over me.
Yes.
I had a couple of questions. This Dr. Wang you mentioned,
Dr. Wang, yes.
is it W-A-N-G?
It's H-U-A-N-G. I actually went to China and met him. I'll tell you how good his formulas are. I've been having an issue for like 10 years where I couldn't breathe. Like, it was difficult. And I'd been in the hospital a few times, and no doctor could help me. I went to every doctor. I could not breathe. And so I thought, well, gosh, I'd started doing this cancer cascade, and I'd read a lot about him. And I thought, well, if anybody can help me, he can, right? So I went to China, and I met him, and he does pulse testing, and I had a translator with me. And within 30 seconds, he told me, well, through my translator, what my symptom was, why I had it, and he gave me, and also, this is the kicker, he told me it was because he says it's your personality. That's what he told me. He goes, your personality is the problem. And I'm like, I've been suffering for all these years, right? And he's like, he wasn't trying to be funny. He was just like, your personality is the problem. So he did give me some of his medicine. They were herbs, and within a week, I could breathe again. After 10 years of struggling to breathe, I could breathe again. So his herbs are unbelievable. Like, they're unbelievable. But I do have to work on my personality. I'm telling you, I have to work on it.
What's wrong with it?
Well, I'm too impatient. He said, he told me, he goes, you don't wait for things, you're too impatient. And because of that, it causes anxiety. It's affected my lungs, it's affected my heart. So because of that, then I started meditating. So I meditate, which has changed my life. But all I'm saying is because of my impatience, it's causing me lung issues and heart issues, and it's all an emotion. So that's another, that's proof. I mean, that's my own experience. So.
What about genetic predisposition?
Um,
You hear a lot about people getting tested for this or that. So when you use your tests, are there some people who might give you more reliable results than others?
I guess that's a difficult question for me, and I don't know the right answer, but I do know that that's something that you would have to talk to your doctor about, because I don't know. I mean, I know this finds a lot of things and it helps a lot of people, but as far as your question, I think you'd have to talk to your doctor. I wouldn't want to say the wrong thing, so I'm sorry about that.
No problem.
But yeah, yes.
Could I comment on that, please?
Oh yes, please do.
Dr. Bruce Lipton's work on genetics and epigenetics says what we inherit most is belief systems and patterns of our predecessors. One of the best blocking points of human beings, where they like to throw up their hands, is go, oh, that runs in my family, heart disease or this or that. So they feel like they've now gotten a no to be excused from taking care of themselves. So much of this conversation is about belief systems, and belief systems can actually change the DNA and other things regardless of what the genetics were in the past, because genetics are locked within belief systems and habits of the family you were raised in your culture and predecessor around. So that actually can be modified. Otherwise, there's no conscious, spiritual, holistic solution, just very expensive stuff.
No, I do know that's true. There's a lot of people I scan that they say, well, I'm going to get diabetes. My family did, my mother, my father. And I'm like, well, let's talk about how everybody eats. Do you have the same lifestyle habits as, I mean, just what you were saying, do you have the same lifestyle habits of these? So a lot of times that's what it is. It's, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Could I add one other thing, please?
Yeah.
When we mine a negative or a perceived negative, my doctor or my cancer or my whatever, that's neuro-linguistic programming. It's very hard to get rid of my's. We neutralize my's of the negatives to the, and you want to have my's for all the good things. My health, my vitality, the doctor, maybe when it's appropriate, the oncologist, because you want to give up the things that don't serve your holistic, conscious, spiritual future. And NLP is very basic, fundamental. That's what Tony Robbins started his career on. And I would encourage people to do those simple things. And I wanted to also compliment you on your meditation, which results in chi or pranic breathing, because breathing is, you may have talked about this before, I apologize if you came in late, is the key to keeping the body alkalized. And just some of the simple things, being grounded, smiling, being in the sun, getting your vitamin D, and deep, pranic, appropriate, regular breathing. If everybody checks their breathing throughout the day, you'll be quite amazed how you're bent over and you're not diaphragmatically breathing. So a lot of the good solutions, contrary to what it takes to support a big clinic like this, come for free.
Yes. Yes. But sometimes you have to come to a clinic to learn that.
Absolutely.
Or to get reminded, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well, it's like
I'm sorry.
I remember going to see a consultant, a nutritionist, and it was $150. And I remember leaving, and the most important thing she said, and I thought, that's so simple. And sometimes you have to pay for the simple stuff because it's the most with what you eat. If you just do that, you are, at least on the nutritional level, you are ahead of the game.
Right,
Green, purple,
right,
red.
right.
And it was just amazing.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is so true. What were you going to say?
I just wanted to share that I had the cancer cascade and the meridian testing. And for me, you know, I feel like overall I'm a pretty healthy person, but I had questions, like you said, about, you know, heart disease and cancer because it ran crazy in, you know, my family. So I would just talk to my husband and we were talking and I said, you know, I just want to do this for peace of mind, even though I know that, you know, I do have, you know, a very positive attitude. I do take good care of myself. But there are things you just question and yet you're curious about. And this really helped a lot in meeting Molly and doing it. And it was like just reaffirming how I felt about myself and how healthy I was or wasn't. And I came back with a pretty positive test. And
yes.
And it just I walked home and I thought, God, I feel really good about how I am taking care of myself and how I look at life. And you know, every morning when I go to boot camp, I'm the one saying, thank you for this and thank you for that. And so it just reaffirmed how I felt.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, thank you.
It felt good.
Thank you. So if nobody else has any questions, thank you so much. I really appreciate so many showing up and listening, and I hope that you take this and apply it to your life. And don't forget your jars, and we'll find the CDs for them, okay?